Hello everyone. Mental Health Awareness Week. There's something wrong with this thing. First of all, why a week? And aren't we aware, all of us, about the importance of our mental health? Or even if we're not aware, are we not subconsciously aware of who we are and what we struggle with, or how we enjoy life and what we want out of it? Let's go back a bit. I was kindly asked by Alex and Rob to get some video of myself and do one of my things talking to you. Who am I? My name is Spanjer. I'm a member of the MCIfA, and I am not, as you can see, a trained YouTuber or a experienced speaker to myself or a laptop about a subject which normally I discuss with other people. But the thing is that mental health is, to my mind, very important to us as archaeologists, as people, and especially for us. We are aware. This week, undoubtedly, someone will have told you that 1 in 6 people are struggling with mental illnesses or has mental health problems. I would say we're all struggling with it. But some go over a certain edge, or have a pattern in life, or are so disposed to mental illness by genetics or whatever reason that they struggle more with it. The most important thing I want to tell you is that it is important, and it is just someone, a fellow human being, who is also an archaeologist, who has been mentally ill, you could say, 2 episodes in my life, a depression and a burnout, that has some experience and has been thinking about this subject in a more general manner than most of us for the last 15 years. That's my credentials, that's who I am, and that's what brings me here and to bother you. To not be too big a bother, I have a tool, and I will give myself 7 minutes to talk about it. 7 minutes, the ring goes, I'll make sort of a stop. Just a reminder, I hope the ticking doesn't bother you too much, but that's eating into my time. What's the worst thing that can happen to a human being? I would say to be alone. Immediately I will hear someone say, oh no, it's cancer, or you are now suffering from, well, the effects of the coronavirus, or you have a loved one who's going through the struggles. But the thing that makes it worse is to be alone. Alone. Alone is, we all have been alone. We have been alone for weeks or whatever, but that's by choice. I'm talking about the alone of the idea in your mind that you're not accepted by fellow human beings, that you are excluded, that you think you're not part of the group, the social entity you want to be part of. That alone. And it is a very bad thing. And every human being, a lot of its behavior is to be explained, or he acts on it to ward away this fear of being alone. And that brings mental health problems, and we all have them. In my case, well, you could say it has nothing to do with alone, but if you are taking too much on yourself, you get, for instance, a deep and sudden depression. And you feel alone, you feel worthless, you feel not loved, you feel not of this world. I have described this while I was laying on the couch with a lot of blankets on top of me and cushions around me. This idea that you can look at yourself and think, why are you lying there, and at the same time realizing that it feels as if every bone in your body is broken. Even making a cup of tea is too much. Luckily for me, I got out of it in less than a month with a very sharp rise in mental health, and so it was an episode. Book closed. In essential, the book just opened. We all don't want to be alone, and especially in archaeology, there is this fear of not being part of something. Why? Because we make different choices in our life. We don't go for a secure job, we want to have our curiosity satisfied. We want to be part of the endeavor of doing archaeology. We want to tell stories, things most people want to do in a matter, or want to enjoy the fruits of it, but it is not something what is very common, especially since society wants to sort of expect you to succeed and have security in job or relations or whatever. So you are defined as different. Why do I know that? Well, for instance, I teach courses in archaeology, and first year students who come there are amazingly talking quite a lot about this experience of getting to a safe place, getting to home, feeling at home. And if you have that feeling and you think this is what life has meant for me, then the struggle is how to maintain that. And you can talk about the obvious cases of people who get a burnout, or you can talk about people who have a food deficiency, for instance vitamin B12, and therefore they feel constantly depressed, or people with something like Asperger's, which is could be highly functioning or whatever, but the sense is all I have made a choice and I have to be successful. I have to be able to prove to the world that I'm a successful archaeologist and I want to be part of it. The problem is that people, although they're struggling, therefore are also avoiding it, because we think in the West that our bodies and minds are separate, and that the soul, could you say, is something which is in the big gland between your ears that makes you function like that. That's a lovely explanation, but it doesn't take into account what you feel. And what you feel, your feelings, your insecurity, your sense of having to prove yourself will bring a lot of archaeologists on their knees. And not literally speaking, but they will become dissatisfied. It is an open secret that all over the world archaeology students are struggling with mental health issues. They take longer over their studies, they bring backpacks of a prior history, they have already at that age, 18 years old, have experienced what it is of being an outlier in the group. That outlier position we embrace. And now the thing is, but why aren't we nicer to each other? Why don't we bond together? Why don't we make it a safer place? And why do we focus on the spectacular or the understandable? Why do we not make this place a safer world? Because in the end that's sort of an unwritten way to pay archaeologists, to explain why we make these choices. And I come back to it to fear. Not being able to embrace this part of yourself, running away from it, fleeing. Therefore, if you're not struggling at this time and you see this video, or if you're lost, or if you think this is not the way I want archaeology to be, there's the bell. It's pretty simple. Just focus on being good to each other. Just bring a cupcake to work or whatever. Just be yourself and accept others. Place trust in each other, even if the other person is not totally the same as you are. We have to do it together in this profession. So I would say, let's start enjoying. Let's start realizing who we are. Let's free ourselves in the most broad way we have. And you would say, is that the duty of a professional institute? Yes, it is, because it will make us function better for ourselves, as individuals, as groups, and ultimately for society. I hope in some way that it helps, but for now I'm just waiting to meet each other in person and try to, well, make this a better place. Bye bye.